standing up for a silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mrs. Frank, would you take the roll, please?
Yes. Mayor Kindle is going to be late. Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman Pies.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Here.
Councilwoman Williams.
Present.
Councilman Tucson.
Present.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
And City Attorney DeWally. Here.
All right, since the mayor is likely to arrive a little late, then we don't need to give her a pass for the day. All right, now if you would please, we need a motion to approve the minutes from the regular city council meeting and the library board meeting.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
I'll offer the motion to receive, file, and approve the minutes from the regular city council meeting held on May 2nd, 2022, and to receive and file the minutes of the library board meeting held on March 17th, 2022.
Do we have support?
Support.
Good. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right, then we'll move to public comments on agenda items. This is just a reminder that if you wish to comment on anything the council is going to take up tonight, we ask that you please identify yourself and limit yourself to 3 minutes. But now is your opportunity to say anything about upcoming business on the agenda. No? All right. Then let's move to the consent agenda. I need a resolution.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
I'll make the resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 8.
Do I have
Support.
Support. Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I wanted to point out under number 1 that George La Pastora, a very wise man, was reappointed to the Grosse Pointe Library Board of Trustees from here in Harper Woods. He's our representative to the Grosse Pointe Library Board.
Okay. And that's coming up, I believe, under new business as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay. Any comments about the consent agenda? Hearing none, then can we have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Very good. No old business, so let's move into today's new business with the city manager reports. Number 1, the appointment to the Grosse Pointe Library Board of Trustees.
Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members, our current representative on the Grosse Pointe Library Board of Trustees, Mr. George La Pastora, reached out to the city clerk and has agreed to continue his service by being reappointed to this board for a 4-year term. The director of the board has also stated that she and other members would be happy to have him continue serving, and barring any objections from you, it is my recommendation that he be reappointed. Mayor Pro Tem, a motion is recommended.
All
Madam
right.
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Constantine.
I'll offer the motion to approve the appointment of Mr. George La Pastora as the Harper Woods representative to the Grosse Pointe Library Board for a term ending in June of 2026.
Do I have a support?
Support.
Very good. Any discussion? Then-
Mr. La Pastora served us very well, and he is very highly respected.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All in favor of his reappointment?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Then that motion carries. Secondly, acceptance of financially distressed cities grant for the City Hall generator.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, A grant application was recently filed under the Federal Distressed Cities Grant Program, FDCVT, of the state of Michigan. We are pleased to announce that we have been awarded this grant in the amount of $200,970. The grant application was for the purchase and installation of a commercial-sized backup generator for City Hall. This is a much-needed piece of equipment due to the many power outages we experienced last year. The lack of power caused many disruptions to the services we provide and also caused computer equipment and other similar equipment to fail when surges occurred upon the power being restored. Having this commercial generator will alleviate any issues in the event the power in our area is interrupted. As a condition of receiving the grant funds, the attached resolution needs to be adopted. Therefore, it is my recommendation that it be adopted. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
All right, can I have a resolution, please?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
I'll offer the resolution to adopt the attached resolution accepting the state of Michigan's financially distressed cities, villages, and townships FDCVT grant in the amount of $205,970 toward the City Hall generator installation, and further to authorize the acting city manager to sign all the necessary documents required by the state of Michigan, and also to congratulate the acting city manager on his hard work and not giving up.
Amen. All right, do I have support for that?
Support.
Very good. Any discussion?
Really quick,
Yes.
will this be the total cost, or is there a more cost on top of this?
There's categories of cost, but the total cost of all the categories is $205,970. That includes, I want to say, installation. That includes, any accessories that are needed, so forth and so on.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Very good.
Okay, and
Yes.
question?
I believe that Mr. Tucson had his hand up first, so please.
Do we have any idea how big this unit will be?
They're making them smaller than, I want to say, years past, but it's going to be pretty big. I want to say it'll be probably the size of a small truck. Bill?
That's fair, yeah.
Okay, that's a
Maybe
fair.
100 kilowatt.
All right. Ms. Lemmings?
Yes, and you said that this generator is going to be able to support which areas again?
It's going to support City Hall and the library. So just everything here. In the past, our generator just supported our 911 emergency desk and little more than that. So this is going to power up the entire City Hall, power up the library too.
This is fantastic news.
I have a question regarding how it's going to be located. Do we have a facility, are we going to build something that will house this unit?
Well, we've done a little bit of prepping and site preparation. There's, depending on what we do, if we have a diesel fuel adapter on it, or if it's propane gas, we're still undecided there. But more than likely, but it could change, it would be probably behind the fire hall.
In its own building, I assume, or?
Oh, no, this is a self-contained unit. It's made for the outdoors.
Oh,
too.
so we
Yeah.
don't need to worry about
We don't
housing
need to
it.
worry about that.
Very good. All right. Any other discussion?
We have one more question. Is there going to be a monthly maintenance fee or an annual maintenance fee or?
That's a good question. Bill, would you care to make a comment and come to the microphone, please?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Addison, Madam Mayor, and City Council. Yeah, to your point, it's going to be self-diagnostic. It will cycle weekly and go through an automated check. And there's an LED readout that we will get that will tell us the status of that equipment. And we're still trying to fine-tune the location of that generator. And John's right, it's going to be the size of a small bread truck. And we got to give careful thought to this in that one of the first places we were looking was right outside the fire department. But we have Freon lines that run from our condenser unit into the building for air conditioning. So, you know, it's not always wise to build on top of existing components of equipment that we have. So that's something we're to give consideration to also. So, yeah, this is going to serve the city very well. It's something that we've needed for a long time. We applied for a grant previously and didn't make the cut, which is not unusual. But the second time for us was a charm. So, and if you got any more questions, I can.
Is there an annual fee? I still remember hearing that.
I'm sorry?
Is there an annual fee for maintenance? Or
No, there is not. No, that's going to be something once we purchase. It will come with a warranty and a maintenance warranty. And I would imagine, like other products, you can buy an extended warranty, and that's something we'd take a look at. And we're also buying it with the diesel backup option.
Yes.
Did our misfortune with the flooding and everything have anything to do with how we managed to get the grant this time around?
No, I think that we emphasize the importance and the need for the emergency uprunning of our building. You know, right now, and John's correct, that presently an 8,000 or a 10,000 kilowatt generator only powers communications and dispatch. So if our power were to go out in January and it was 10 below zero, we didn't have a real means to fire up our boiler and keep our building from going cold and freezing. In the past, when that's happened, we've done some real creative things to keep ourselves warm and have gotten through that. I think they realized the need.
Very good.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right, then, if we could have roll call, please.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes,
And the resolution passes.
Very nice. Number 3, progress payment number 2, water service material investigation program number 180-265.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, attached is a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 2 on the water service material investigation program number 180-265. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
All right.
Madam Mayor,
I'm
or
sorry, I didn't see
Madam
that.
Pro Tem,
Thank you.
I'll offer by resolution to approve payment to ML Chartier, Inc. in the amount of $41,490 for progress payment number 2 on the water service material investigation program number 180-265.
Support. All right, Mrs. Williams. Any discussion? Seeing none, we can get a roll call.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, item number 4, progress payment number 3, a final payment on the 2020 storm sewer open cut repairs number 18229.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, attached is a letter from our city engineers transmitting progress payment number 3, final, on the 2020 storm sewer open cut repair project number 180-229. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Toussaint?
By resolution, I approve payment to Great Lakes Contractor Solution LLC in the amount of $5,000 for progress payment number 3, final, on the 2020 storm sewer open cut repair project number 180-228.
Support.
All right, Mr. Jenny? Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to have an explanation, I know it's the reason, for why we're paying for 2020 and 2022.
Okay, this $5,000, it represents a retainage that's withheld on the project, And why is retainage withheld on a project? Well, there's a Michigan Public Act that provides for that. And in the event that there is any sort of default on the project in any phase of the project, the retainage, which would be the $5,000, could be used by the city to engage another contractor to come and finish up the work that wasn't done by the original contractor. And through all of the inspections and all the testing and the time-consuming work, we're finally returning the contractor retainage back to the contractor. That's what this payment represents.
I'll ask the question, was there any problem with the contractor that would have prevented us from closing this out earlier?
Bill?
No. Council, there was no problem with this contractor at all. He provided great service for us, and this is customary and routine for them to retain typically 10% of a project for this on city projects. The exception would be MDOT projects, for example, like on Beaconsfield, that we don't have the authority to withhold retainage on those projects. So, but this is customary to do this. And also, there was a letter that we had to get provided to us to say that all his suppliers had been paid in full too. So there was no outstanding debt owed by this contractor.
Thank you.
Okay, pleasure.
All right, any other discussion? Then Mrs. Frank?
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hyde.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Thank you. Number 5, Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund Renewal.
Mayor Pro Tem and City Council attaches a memorandum from the Acting Finance Director transmitting an invoice from the Michigan Municipal League's Workers' Compensation Fund for our 2022 workers' compensation insurance. We have been members of this self-insurance fund for more than 30 years, and it is recommended that we continue to participate. As this is a self-insurance pool, competitive bidding can be waived in accordance with city policy. I would also note that we received a dividend of $104,203 this year that has been applied toward the premium. This helps to offset this cost. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is required.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes. Councilman.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll offer by resolution to approve payment to Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund in the amount of $70,400 for workers' compensation insurance from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and further in that this is self-insurance pooled funds, that competitive bidding be waived in accordance with city policy.
Do I have a support? Support. All right. Discussion? Hearing none?
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hyde.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
But at this rate, the mayor might not have anything to do. All right, number 6, contract extension for the 2022 concrete pavement repair program.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, attached is a memorandum from the Public Works Superintendent recommending that we enter into extension agreements with several contractors for the various projects we have had in the city. This item and the next 3 are submitted for your approval. The contractor has agreed to extend the unit bid prices for the concrete pavement repair program with the addition of a $13,000 mobilization fee to cover increases in labor, fuel, and concrete. By extending this contract in the next 3, we save the cost of preparing new bid specifications, advertising, and other startup costs. Further, Based on other recent bids, we do not feel that bidding will result in lower prices. This work is spread throughout the city and contractors usually bid higher because of this, and it would not be cost effective to rebid it. I have discussed this with the superintendent and the engineers and agree with their recommendation that the modification be approved. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
I'll make the resolution to approve the contract modification in the amount not to exceed $100,000 with L. Anthony Construction of Shelby Township for the 2022 concrete pavement repair program number 180283.
Do I have support? Support. Mrs. Constantino. Discussion?
Pro Tem?
Yes.
I know a lot of cities around here are doing the exact same thing we're doing here. They're locked in. Prices are going through the roof. We all know that, but when it comes to construction and even getting stuff, it's very difficult. So I know I know my city itself is doing the same thing. So
All right, thank you.
Yes, and Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
I've had the same experience, even just rebidding out different things, and the bids are coming back ridiculously high because of inflation, building materials, and things like that. So I think that we better snatch this up and grab it while we can.
All right, any other discussion? Mrs. Ring?
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Number 7, contract extension, 2022 storm sewer repair program.
Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, this is the second of 4 projects that the contractor has agreed to offer an extension with their current unit bid prices with an additional fee of $10,000 to cover increases in labor and materials and insurance. The work they have been doing so far has been up to our standards, and we would be pleased to continue working with them. As with the previous item, this contract extension has been recommended by our Public Works Superintendent and our engineers. I have reviewed this and concur with their recommendation. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
All right, can I hear a resolution, please?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'll offer by resolution to approve the contract modification in an amount not to exceed $85,000 with Great Lakes Contracting Solutions LLC of Waterford for the 2022 storm sewer repair program number 180-282.
Support.
All right, I'm gonna see.
You can have that one.
Okay, I'll take that one.
You can take it.
All right, any discussion?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. So we're renewing it for 2022, so each year we go through the same process to renew it.
Yes. Any other questions? All right, hearing none?
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sulicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right. Item number 8, contract extension, 2022 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation project.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, this is the third of 4 projects that the contractor has agreed to offer an extension with their current unit bid prices. We have been satisfied so far with the work they have performed. As with the previous items, this contract extension has been recommended by our Public Works Superintendent and our engineers. I have reviewed this and concur with their recommendation. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
All right, do we have a resolution?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Please.
I'll make the resolution to approve the contract modification, the amount not to exceed $100,000 with Deutsch Environmental Services of Warren for the 2022 sanitary sewer cleaning and CCTV investigation program, number 180-285.
Support.
Mrs. Constantino. Any discussion? I have a question. How far along are we with doing the entire city? I we wanted to do the investigation and cleaning and all of this with the entire community. And I don't know if we've finished that already, and are we going back again? I'm just kind of curious where we are in this whole project.
Bill, would you care to come up to the microphone and give a status report on that?
You're gonna get your steps in
Yeah,
today.
It's a great worthwhile project that the city has undertaken and funded for the last several years. And our goal and objective over the last 2 years was to complete the east side of I-94 from Old 8 Mile Road to Kingsville. And to that end, we have done that. We've got a couple little areas that we need to go back and reinvestigate to get some clarity on. And then we will be moving to some different locations on the west side of 94.
All right, so we don't, the idea was not to do the entire city, just that one area?
You know what, based on the size of the sewers and some discussions with our engineers, not all areas of the city warrant the same attention at this time. We're taking a look at some of the smaller to medium-sized sewers, and by that I mean 10 to 12 to 15-inch sewers. We have 18, 24-inch, and 36-inch sewers that we have a level of confidence in that we don't have to go back and look at in the immediate. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor, I think since it's at the same price as it was last year, this is a good deal.
All right, very good. No other discussion, then we'll do a roll call.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right, the final item on our new business is number 9, contract extension for the 2020 pavement joint and crack ceiling project.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, this is the last of the 4 projects that the contractor has agreed to offer an extension with their current unit bid prices for the work that remains east of I-94. The work that they have performed has met our standards, and we would like to continue working with them. As with the previous items, by extending this contract, we save the cost of preparing new bid specifications, advertising, and other startup costs. It would not be cost effective for us to rebid it. I have discussed this with the Public Works Superintendent and with the engineers, and I concur with their recommendations. Mayor Pro Tem, a resolution is recommended.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
a resolution approve the contract modification in an amount not to exceed $75,000 with Michigan Joint Ceiling Inc. of Farmington Hills for the 2022 Payment Joint Ceiling Program, number 180-286.
Support.
All right, we have the resolution and support. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
For people that don't know, the joint sealing is when they go through and they really take all the caulk out of the streets, redo it in all the joints, and it does make leaves the water out from going to the catch basins. Does keep a lot of the freeze and thaw, keeps our roads up better than most places around here, so it's a very good project.
Helps them last longer.
Any other discussion? I do want to add to that I know that it extends the life of the roadway. Because I know there was a year or two when we were not able to do this program and we saw great deterioration. So it is a worthwhile program. Thank you. All right, then, if hearing no other discussion,
Got it. Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes the city manager's report.
You came back at a good time.
I apologize,
You can
everybody.
take over now.
I apologize, everyone. I just had a commitment that I couldn't get out of, and it ran longer. But thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for stepping in for me and carrying on for me. Thank you very much. Call the audience, and let's start with Councilwoman
No
Constantino.
audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Audience.
I'm sorry, audience, please. You know I am modulated totally today. So, anyone in the audience would like to speak? And Bill, I hope you're feeling better.
I am, thank you.
We
Good.
gave him quite a few steps at tonight's meeting.
Oh, did
Going
we?
Back and forth, yes.
All right. Anyone in the audience would like to speak, please step up to the mic. Identify yourself.
Good evening. My name is Maisha Safour. I reside at 20930 Beaufait. And I got a couple of things that I have some concerns about. The first being the rodent issue in the city. And I have a question. I would like to know, could the city possibly come up with a plan for us to have the bins like the city of Detroit has, as well as Grosse Pointe? Now, I was told there's some issue with funding for that. But I think that if you all would come up with some resolution to possibly put it in maybe in the water bill, or I don't know what you could do, but I know it can be done and it's needed. Every pickup day on Friday, I live on a corner. I pick up trash. I have photos. I'm cleaning up trash from my neighbors because the birds have gotten into it, the rodents from the night before. It's all spread and everything lands at 20930. I don't know what that is, but I have to get in the street and clean it up, sweep it up, get a bag. I'm tired. So people put out trash. The bin is this tall. The trash is up here. So that's why I'm here tonight, just to find out, is there a resolution where we can have the larger bins that other cities have? I don't know what the cost is. I would be willing. I can't speak for everybody, within the city, but I'm sure that would help the rodent control. Second thing, in calling I guess it's the city management, I'd like to know what type of manpower do we have? We have new neighbors that have moved into the area. No one comes to the municipal building to find out when trash pickup is, what you can put out. I had a sofa on my block out for 2 weeks. It was never tagged. I mean, it's just becoming an eyesore with the grass. We have a few renters on our block. I don't know who needs to maybe investigate to find out. Every year, this guy that lives there in particular, we have to call him. He doesn't pick the mail up off of his particular porch. I mean, it's an eyesore to the whole block. And if any of you were to ride down Beaufait, you can pick out the homes. I've been here for 16 years. We do the best we can. So I don't know, what we can do about those things. I was told there were only 4 individuals working in that department. I don't know if you need some volunteers. I don't know, to stick a note, on an individual or neighbor's door to say, hey, we got to do better. If we want to resell and you want to attract new individuals coming into the city, it has to consistently be clean and up to par. And I believe a lot of you all live, or if not all of you, live in the same community. And from my understanding, when you cross 94, the community pretty much has a distinction of, oh, you live over there, so they keep that up because you're closer to Grosse Pointe. I get that all the time. That should not be. Should not be. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Mr. Schenberg.
Good evening, City Council. I come today because Bill does a great job in tagging the lawns and everything, but there's just really, really too many of them out there. And the ones that he's tagging, a lot of times, they'll cut their grass, and then they wait till they get tagged again. Or they'll cut the front lawn, and they don't cut the back. Now, I got 2 addresses here just before they tagged, the addresses are 19103 and 19111. One's empty, the other one is in it. She cuts her front, doesn't cut the back. They did a hatchet job on her front this week, just before they went to tag, and it's barely, you can see where the lawnmower went and didn't go, even on the front between the curb and the sidewalk and the backyards, about like that. And to me, once they've been tagged once, they should be put on a list. You know who they are. You've already had a warning. We need to start ticketing them, because I think that's the only way that they're gonna start listening. And I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of renters. Most of them are coming, at least as far as I can tell, from Detroit. Detroit, they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that. And if you walk down, go down into Detroit and any of the neighborhoods, you can see that. And when they move here, they just don't pay attention. They don't do that. And like the other lady a couple of weeks ago said, parking on the lawn or whatever. And I know I called and left a message for Mr. Szymanski, and hopefully he took it at heart. And I just think that this lady, she gets tagged, she'll cut her front, and then she won't even cut the sidewalk, between the sidewalk and the curve on Lansdowne. And then she waits till she gets tagged again, and that's when she'll cut it. And to me, no. Second tag, no. You've been warned once, that's it. Start ticketing. Maybe they'll start listening when they gotta pay money. I don't know what the ticket is or how much the ticket is at this point. But, and I know there's still a lot more out there that's gotta be tagged yet, but I know they were out with a crew and they tagged a lot of them. But the one house that I'm talking about, 1911, again, that house has had nobody in it in 8 years. Not one person has ever moved in there, and the guy, whoever owned it, used to have it cut. They don't anymore. I don't even know. I asked the guy the last time that was cutting, I says, who owns it? He says, that's none of your business. Go to the city and find out. You know, he said, I don't tell who my customers are. Okay. I tried to find out who owns it, and the other thing is, like I said the last time, we've got too many owners that are out of this country and are having people manage it, and then when we go to them, they give us the rigmarole. That's got to stop too. If you're going to manage that property, then you're responsible for it, and you take the blow for it, not the owner. You're the one that's managing it. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
My name is Dawn Droz, 214327 Severn. I was curious if you guys had talked about the Highland Park water bill situation. I understand, I read in the paper that the Grosse Pointes are putting their money in escrow now. Macomb Township was putting their money in escrow. So I didn't know if you guys had discussed that. I don't know if you've come up with any sort of resolution, but I was curious where Harper Woods stood, because it does seem pretty unfair that you've had to cover those, and I know it's a thorn in your side as well. So I was just curious if there had been any thoughts on that.
Are you, is this in regards to the lawsuit that,
Yeah, that we're paid, that my understanding is, and I think Harper Woods is part of that, that we're being forced to pay for the money that Highland Park has owed for so long.
that, yeah, some of those arguments have been tossed out, there's been new arguments introduced, but we're not spending city money, I want to say, as part of that case right now.
No, not that you're spending money on attorneys, but my understanding, maybe Harper Woods isn't part of it, but I thought we had to help pay for the Great Lakes Water Community for what Highland Park owed. That had been divvied up amongst other communities, Macomb Township, the Grosse Pointes. I thought we were part of that. And all of those communities, or not all, but several are pushing back now saying, this has gone on long enough. and we're pushing back. And so instead of paying what they owe, they're actually putting that money into, they're taking the money that they would pay to Great Lakes Water, putting it in escrow. And I didn't know if we're still paying Great Lakes Water?
Here's what happens. We purchase our water from Great Lakes. And I want to say they put an administrative charge, you know, on the water. We're in negotiations right now to get a reduction on some of that. So, you know, at this time, we're not experiencing the problems that other communities are.
Oh, interesting, okay.
So,
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
May I also respond? 5 days ago, according to the Detroit News, Wayne County judge ruled that the city of Highland Park must pay back that money. They have to resume payments to Great Lakes Water Authority and, for a $54 million debt. And so the judge did rule on that, and so hopefully that's going to kind of put an end to, well, if they can pay that, that's a lot of money.
Yes,
But-
but it won't impede on the rest of the community to pick up the slack that they were trying to do. So, that's been settled. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? No?
Can anybody hear you?
Seeing none? All right. Councilwoman Constantino?
I just want to mention that the Crime Reduction Law Enforcement Task Force is going to be meeting on Thursday, June 2nd. So we have some things to talk over and iron out. And if you're interested in participating, let me know and I'll let you know where we're meeting.
And I think we also need to let everyone know that that task force that you're speaking of is it's not a sanctioned commission of the city of Harper Woods.
Well, everybody already knows it's part of the.
No, everybody does not know. And we need to make that clear that this is a group that was formed through a nonprofit now, which is the NEDC group. And that's what you're portraying, was that involvement of your group from the NEDC group. So it's not a sanctioned commission nor group from the city of Harper Woods. We have not given anyone permission to do anything under the city of Harper Woods as a commission or whatever. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that that group is a part of a group that you formed with the NEDC group. It's not something that's sanctioned by the city of Harper Woods, even though you're a part of it.
It was formed way back in the beginning when the NEDC was part of the city of Harper Woods.
Excuse me,
And
NEDC
still
was
part of
never
it.
been a part of the city
Well,
of
it was
Harper
started
Woods.
by our economic development director at that time. And-
No, it was
But
not. But
it's-
anyway, we're not gonna argue that point. The president is Kathy right there of the NEDC Coalition Group. And what you're offering is a part of that group. And it's not a sanctioned part of the city of Harper Woods. I just wanna make that perfectly clear, that
I
people
think we did that
understand.
already,
All right?
many minutes ago.
Whatever. Okay, is there anything else? Councilwoman Constantino? Councilman Toussaint?
Last week was a pretty busy week. We had everything from the pancake breakfast at Regina Church, which attracted quite a few people from K9. I'm sure Councilwoman Pius will have some more comments on that. There was also the spring perennial plant exchange over in with the park, so that came out pretty good too. I even exchanged a couple of pineapple lily balls for a couple of plants there. The new business over the Taco Bar Unlimited had a nice Cinco de Mayo little celebration there that some of us participated. I made sure I went over there. And by the way, their tacos are very good. We also had the Lockmore Club. There was a Respect for Law program breakfast there where one of our officers, Luke Pauling, received official accommodations there. So I want to give him an applaud there. And, we also had the mayor's breakfast. The mayor's breakfast was also held by the Commerce Department of Grosse Pointe Commerce, and where our mayor. Now, did you get the invitation there, or you gave at the mayor's breakfast? Okay.
Invitation.
Right, and one of our scholars from Harperwood School, Paris Ellis, also received accommodation from there. So she's a very promising student, and she's a senior too. They got some recommendations recognized at the breakfast. Someone had asked last time about the summer baseball program, and it looks like we will still be having it. We will have it. There's going to be for grades for ages 4 through 14, where there will be T-ball for the 4 through 5-year-olds. Then there will be coach pitch for 6 to 8 years old. There will be a more competitive baseball for the 10-year-olds and the 12-year-olds. A little more accommodation there too. A little more competitive at that time. Actually, the last day of registration was yesterday, but they still do have a couple of openings open in certain categories. So if you're still interested in trying to get your kid in there, it'd be a good idea to call as soon as possible, because they will still have a few, like I said, slots left in certain areas. We also will be having pickleball this summer too, and I'll be working with a citizen there, George Cotton. We have a few people who have signed up for it, but we'd like to get a few more. We do have 2 courts for it, and that will be a June program, and that will be from June 22nd to August 6th. That'll be 9 to 11 on Wednesday and 1 to 3 on Saturdays. There's a small fee of $2, but it's a very exciting sport. I've kind of gotten involved with it over at Assumption Church over in St. Clair Shores. So I will be, I'm actually promoting this also, and will also be an instructor at that particular time. So being on part of the Recreation Committee, I thought it was up to me to sort of give an update on certain programs we have going. We also will have, there's going to be the Redeemer United Methodist Church. There's going to be a flea market and craft market on Saturday, June 25th. Booth fees will be $20. So if you want to participate in that, it'd be a good idea now to email Margaret Porter on that for payments and more details on it. There's also this summer going to be yogurt, and there's also going to be swimming at the church, at the school, and I had another sheet here with some more programs. So there will be quite a few programs going on this summer. So it's a good time to sign up as soon as possible. And the more we have signed up, the stronger we'll have as far as more community programs. But, please sign up so we can have Harperwood programs going again strong and alive. That's all.
Go ahead and bring it.
All right, there are a number of items that I wanted to mention. First off, I know that the question was mentioned earlier by one of our residents who came up about whether we were all residents. I mean, the assumption on her part was that some of us might be resident. We are all residents. Okay, all of the council must be a resident of Harper Woods in order to be on council. So just to make that clear. So a couple of other things. I want to start off by mentioning that I like to update us on our current COVID. And right now, in the last week, we have had 59 new cases in our community. So we really are increasing right now. We've had 82 deaths total. So we lost another resident last week. And so I think it's pretty safe to say that it's still very, active in our community. So please take all necessary precautions. If you're feeling ill, I know my brother just came down with COVID. He thought he was having an allergy. All he was suffering was some congestion. Took the test and turned out positive. So those of us who have been vaccinated, we don't have so much of an issue, but it's passing it along to someone who's not vaccinated. So do keep that thought in mind when you're in a crowd, because you could be passing it along to someone who's not as protected as you might be. In addition to those kind of minor, well, those simple items, I did want to mention that residents should be careful. We have some residents in the community who have taken it upon themselves to go through the community and identify houses that are ordinance violators. I know of at least one person who suggested that he might go up to the residents and speak to them about their houses and tell them how their house is violating an ordinance, or contact them about what they need to do to cut their grass or repair their roof or whatever the case might be. And I just kind of want to make this a general warning. It's okay for you to notice a house that is in disrepair and bring it to the attention of the city. Our DPW, our police, our building department all write tickets or give notices for ordinance infractions. But I highly caution anyone who wants to go up to someone and confront them about their own property, because it's a dangerous situation. The police have told me that there have been threats against them when they've confronted residents for ordinance violations. And so please, if you are noticing a problem with a neighbor, or you notice a house, I know I've walked around the community, noticed something, bring it to the attention of the department that is empowered to do something about that, rather than taking it upon yourself, because that really is a very dangerous situation. And I don't want anyone to get injured or confronted violently by doing something that they are doing in the name of being a good neighbor. So that was one very important thing I had to mention. The second thing is that in walking through Salter Park over the weekend, there was a lot of garbage that appeared to have been left by a group that was using one of the shelters. When they left the park, they apparently didn't clean up after themselves. There was chip bags that started blowing around the area. And I find it very disturbing. And it seems to be, and I don't want to say it's a trend, but between having people racing through the neighborhood in cars, blowing off stop signs, people not taking care of their properties, someone renting one of the units in the park and leaving it a trash dump for our DPW to have to clean up, or Parks and Recreation to have to clean up. I don't like this trend that seems to be happening, and I think it behooves us all to, I guess, take notice of this. I've tried to get license plates of cars that are racing down the street. I know our police have done a great job in apprehending some of these people, but I don't understand why there is not a pride in the community that, I think we need to instill it in our young people and instill it in new residents and take pride in our neighborhood, because it's our park. It's something that we all share and that we enjoy, and we need to take that. We we have to come up with something that we can do that will help people to recognize that this is of value to all of us, that we need to take care of these things, you know? So I wanted to point that out because I'm seeing too much of this happening. Two other issues. The next item is that we are going to have a Memorial Day ceremony this year, May 30th, 10:15, at the Johnson Park Memorial area. And so all residents are encouraged to attend. It's always followed by a brief continental breakfast, and so it should be a really nice event. And I just wanted to invite everyone to participate in that. And then I wanted to ask a question, and this has to do with the building that Harper Woods owns on Kelly Road. I believe it was Economic Development Building. And I'm just curious, I've been told in the past that any organization can approach the city to use that facility, to rent it out, or that sort of thing. But lately I've been told that even that when the NEDC wants to have a meeting, they can't use that facility. And so I'm kind of curious as to how that building is being used, and if it is available to groups in the community to lease out for meetings, or what's going on with that facility.
It never has been leased out to other groups, just for clarity. I want to say that due to space limitations and the numerous projects that we're engaged in right now, we have working city offices there, and there will be, you know, limited public contact, if any, in that building.
Okay, so the city is using it for office space?
We're using it for a lot of different purposes right now. Everything that I want to say is going on with North Point, with the Popard, the whole housing development there, that is almost like a satellite city office right now.
All right, thank you. That kind of clears up that question. Thank you very much.
That's the way it's been always.
Yeah, and it's always been that way too, you know, but now more than ever.
Right.
Because
All right.
we just have a lot of use out of it right now.
Okay.
And when NEDC was formulated under Ty, that was when he allowed the NEDC group to meet there, but that was before they became a 501c3.
It might have been from him that I was told that other community groups
Never.
would be able to use that space. Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I add something to what the commission was making earlier about the ordinances and enforcing it? I just kind of wanted to say that to the citizens that if you see somebody in violation, please call the authorities about it. They will not give out your name. They will not give out your name, so you don't have to worry about somebody coming back and saying it was you that did it, or you that did that, or you did. They will not come to your door and ask you to specify where it is. They will keep it very confidential. So, you know, I've heard people say that this is happening here, this is not happening here. Call them, and your name will not be given out.
Councilwoman Hines.
I wanted to follow up on the Harper Woods K-9 program pancake fundraiser on Saturday morning. We saw some of our council people there. It was nice. It was nice to see people come out in support of, I saw some of our police officers there. So nice to see people in support of our K-9 program. Our K-9 Kaiser and his handler, Officer Johnson, were both there, mingling, if you will, and meeting and having their pictures taken, and just all around good support. He raised over $2,600, and this was the first time it was a sit-in since 2019, I believe, and it was a hybrid this time. You could also get your carry-out. Addressing the concern about the trash and the trash receptacles, We have talked about that a lot over the years. It was decided at some point, part of the reason for not doing it, not having that, was because of not just the expense, but also the difficulties in using it for people with some physical disabilities, getting everything out. Right now, the way contracts are set up is that you can contract for just bag pickup, or you contract for can pickup, or you contract for those kinds of large receptacles. And a different type of truck is needed for those receptacles. Having said all that, at the last meeting, I believe our Mr. LaPalme from our building department was here, and also suggested that the only way we're going to get rid of rats is by having those receptacles. So I would like us to look into having that service possibly for next year. As we're able to lower our mills, perhaps we'd be able to offset some of the cost then in getting something like that. Look at it, but it would be not just in addition to being a significant expense. If you needed a second receptacle, that falls directly on the homeowner, and we'd also be paying for probably the other services as well, separate for the bag pickup, separate for the can pickup, and then for this receptacle. But maybe this is something we could look at when later in the fall, when we're looking at budgets for next year, and consider that. But it won't be happening this year, unfortunately. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to give everyone props who worked towards the extensions for the contracts bill, especially. It's going to save the city a lot of money, and it's going to have a lot of good construction happening for our infrastructure. Other than that, that's about it.
Good evening, everyone. A couple of things. I know almost at every meeting that we have, there residents complain about the rat or rodent problem that we have in our area. And I think a couple of meetings back, we came up with something that we could do is when residents could report the house or the area to the city offices. And I think it was like, you said it was going to have Great Lakes come out and put the traps down, and that was going to be helpful. But I don't think most residents know about it, so I don't know if that's on our website or not. The trash can idea, I like that idea also. I know it was going to be a lot more cost to it because you have to change the trucks. And also you have to get all the cans out to all the residents. So I know it's going to be more cost for that. But just like Councilwoman Paez, I think that we should look into that perhaps for the future. And I've lost some of my neighbors because of the rat issue. I've had neighbors that came and told me about it, and their solution was to move. You know, they just couldn't take having the rats around the area with their small children, and so that was one of their solutions. So I hope, you know, that we can do something really to help the residents, because that's a question that comes up at every one of our meetings. The other thing is, I did attend the Respect for Law breakfast that was held at the Lakeshore Optimist Club on May 2nd, along with Councilman Toussaint and our mayor, and also our police chief. Officer Luke Pauley, our Councilman Toussaint mentioned, did receive an award, a commendation. And in case you don't know, Officer Pauley is the one that back in July of 2021, he pulled a person out of a burning car that was on I-94. So very heroic deed, so I'm very glad that he did get commended for that. Also at the breakfast, there's a program that they talked about that they're training police officers, our police officers included, our public safety officers included, about mental health illness. So that sometimes when they go on these runs, you have people who have mental health issues. That's not just that they're, you know, trying to be aggressive or whatever, but they actually have some issues. So there's a program they have where they're training officers on how to handle people that have these mental health issues. And I think that's a wonderful thing because there are so many things that's happening in our society. We have so many people that actually have mental health issues, and it's not about that they're just trying to be aggressive or attacking somebody. It's that there's something else that's going on. And training our officers on how to respond to that, I think it's a wonderful idea. So it's not just Harper Woods they were training, it was several communities, the Grosse Pointe areas, our officers. And so, you know, I think it was a great program. So, I think that's it. Thank you.
Alrighty, then that leaves it to me. Once again, I apologize for my lateness, but it was an event that I had committed to do and could not get out of. But also, I want to make sure people understand, you may have some issues with the fact that we operate a food pantry out of the NEDC building. Now, that is just a service to the citizens of Harper Woods, and it's not a meeting place for the Helping Hands group that helps provide the food. We don't meet there. We have no mail come there. All we do is provide on Thursdays food going out to community people. So if you are in need of food, there's a Helping Hand website that you can go to at any time. We volunteer. We deliver the food to the residents of the city of Harper Woods, and some to the Point, and some to a couple of senior citizens in Detroit. And if there's anyone with COVID or any kind of issues like that, we definitely will make sure that they get a bag of fresh food from Trader Joe's, which is organic food, and it would, you know, enhance people's ability to fight off and ward off COVID, and whatever else. But we service about 35 to 50 families per week, every Thursday. That building is not used for anything else other than the food pantry. We do the food pantry out of there, but we do not meet there. We do not have mail come there, and it's the city office. My office is in that building, along with the economic development office, and for our summer interns will also be housed in there because there's no space here in City Hall for anything else other than what was originally planned here, basically. So, contrary to what other people may say, I just want to set the record straight. We do not use that building for anything other than the food pantry because we have no place else in the city of Harper Woods to operate a food bank. And with saying that,
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Jenkins.
make the motion for adjournment.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good night, everybody.